Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network here. It feels like I'm doing a bunch of NBA videos because the NBA has gone certifiably insane since Saturday when Luka Doncic went to the Lakers. He's going to make his debut. For those who don't know, the ESPN actually picked up the game. They're playing Indiana at Crypto.com Arena on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So that's an early tip for a Saturday game for the Lakers. So that's the first part of this. But the big name that everybody was expecting to get traded, and it was a big saga for a long time, has finally ended. Jimmy Butler is headed into the Golden State Warriors. Andrew Wiggins is the key piece that goes back to Miami. It's a 5-team deal that happens. I'm not going to give you all this particulars. Really, what matters here is Jimmy Butler is heading to the Warriors, and then he signs a 2-year, like $120 million extension. Listen, I'll say this. The Warriors were, big game hunting. They were trying to get some superstar to pair with Draymond because Klay Thompson left, obviously, in the offseason, and they never really, recovered from, that. Now they're trying to, piece something back together to form, a superstar tandem to potentially, have them contend. I've got bad news for Warriors fans. This doesn't change my opinion on the Warriors one iota. This is not a championship team. This is a borderline play-in, maybe solidified, can maybe get to the 6th seed. I doubt it, but I don't think any trade, including Kevin Durant, was going to change my outlook on the Warriors. The Warriors window has closed. I love Steph Curry, and I think he uh, revolutionized the modern basketball game with the three-point shot, and he's taken the NBA by storm. He's a legend. He got his gold medal over the summer, and love Steph Curry, even though he did won a lot of those championships at the expense of my Cleveland Cavaliers. But Jimmy Butler is not changing the outlook of this team at all. And based off some of the stuff that I'm hearing, at least there's no context really to this, but Om Yamasuk of ESPN was saying that Steve Kerr walked out of the locker room before their game and had his head down when he found out. And I don't know if that was related to the fact that this trade was happening, because Andrew Wiggins is a really solid player. He's a role player. And let's get real. He's younger. Jimmy Butler obviously is the better player, but in terms of, for the Warriors, this doesn't change anything for them. It maybe moves the needle a little bit. It's a bigger name. Jimmy Butler's 35 years old, man. Like, it's not. I'm glad that this thing is ended, and this game of chicken between the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler is over, because it was honestly one of the worst handled trade sagas that I've ever seen in any sport by both parties. Like, Pat Riley and the Heat did not come out of this looking good, and Jimmy Butler damaged his reputation a little bit as well. But in regards to this actual trade, the Warriors, I just don't see them as being a better team, or much more of a better team. They were a play-in team. Maybe they move up the standings a little bit and have an easier path. But I think they're a one and done. Maybe they can win a round in the playoffs because they got experience. But I just Draymond Green really hasn't been a valuable piece in terms of off, because he can't score. He hasn't really been good in like 5 years, and pretty much since Kevin Durant left, this team, outside of one finals run when they beat the Celtics in 2022, this is a borderline playoff team. And they had the one bad season in the COVID year where they ended up whiffing and taking James Wiseman, and that didn't work out for them. But yeah, this Warriors team, like, okay, congratulations, you got the superstar that you were pursuing, but you now have a very expensive and old roster. You traded away a very versatile and very talented. Like, I mean, let's get real. Andrew Wiggins has a ceiling, but it doesn't move the needle for me enough to make me believe that in a loaded Western Conference that this Warriors team is somehow going to go on a run and go to the NBA Finals this year. That's not going to happen. So that's the interesting part of this. From a Heat perspective, I really like what Miami was able to do here in getting Andrew Wiggins to come back in the deal, because given where they were with no real leverage, because Jimmy Butler was basically saying, no, I want to go to Phoenix. No, I want to go to Phoenix. No, I want to go to Phoenix. And he ended up not going there, but he caves in, goes to the Warriors, and you get a decent player, like, not really, maybe not an all-star. Like, I think Andrew Wiggins may have made one all-star team. He's a former number one pick, and he's won a championship. So it's a decent deal. He's younger. He's less expensive. So for me, and he kind of fits the Heat culture. So it's a good move for Miami. Like I said, you weren't going to get like some sort of crazy superstar unless you were going to trade and do something with Phoenix and get Kevin Durant back. Now that would have been interesting if him going to Miami, but still, this is a solid move for the Miami Heat. And then in terms of the Phoenix Suns, holy shit, man, they're fucked. Phoenix Suns are screwed because they have been trying so hard to field a trio of stars. The Bradley Beal thing hasn't worked out. Kevin Durant's getting older. Jimmy Butler tried everything he could to get to Phoenix, and it never worked out. And now they're saddled, bordering on 500, and really, you know, another year is going to go by where this team, immensely talented, they got better at head coach, is not going to go anywhere this year unless somehow they go on a heater in the playoffs, which there are better teams in the Western Conference. Phoenix is kind of screwed. That being said, Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors, like I said, the big overriding theme of this is it's a big name, but in terms of like, how this is going to affect the NBA, whereas, the trade that happened on Saturday with Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis, that has vastly more ramifications on where the rest of this NBA season is going to go in the future. This Jimmy Butler trade really doesn't do much of that, but it's still a big name. One of the big sagas has been resolved, and we move forward. We'll see what happens heading towards the trade deadline on Thursday afternoon. We'll have more coverage on that if any other big deals break. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.